Yeah, what's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Lawyer Henderson podcast show. Thumbs up, thumbs up. We're just gonna get straight into it. No music today. No music today. How is everybody? Welcome to the Lawyers and Podcast show. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that like button. Don't forget to leave a comment. Now, this is a very important topic today. Okay, very important topic today. Thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. Family, like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yeah, come on inside. Come on in. Ladies and gentlemen, how is everybody today? I hope everybody has had so far a prosperous, productive day. Lawyer Henderson TV is live. Lawyer Henderson TV is live. Now, excuse me, on Twitter, or on other social media platforms, you basically see also on my thumbnail of what our conversation will be about tonight. Tonight, our conversation is regarding the photo of rapper Eve and her husband, Maximillion Cooper Christmas dinner party. Okay. Now, there's a lot of divestors online who has said, hey, what's the problem? What's the problem? She's just taking pictures with her husband. What's the problem? As many of these divestors like to basically say, right? We'll tell you what the problem is in a moment here on the Lawyers and Podcast show. Now, we were going to talk about Fat Joe, dissing FBA, and all that stuff. But as soon as I was sent this, I was like, no, let me talk about this because this was very important. I immediately said, let me talk about this instead of the Fat Joe controversy. I can deal with the Fat Joe controversy another day. Let me talk about this photo. And of course, like I said earlier, all the bed wenches, hey, black men, they do it. Black men do this all the time. I don't see what the problem is. I don't see what the problem is. Black men do it. You had all the divestors that was congratulating Eve. Okay, no problem there. No problem there so far. But we basically talked about this because the thumbnail was very much kind of, it was interesting. It was troubling. The photo was troubling. Okay? The photo was troubling in many ways. Okay? Now, a lot of people were like, yeah, this looked like another movie of the movie Get Out. Now, remember in the movie Get Out, I did a video essay on the movie Get Out. I think you really, really should go listen to it if you had enough time. And one of the things that I really, 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 really want you to understand about the movie Get Out, it speaks of an interesting plot about what a lot of Black people who say, well, we're not protected in society and all this old stuff. Well, that's because a lot of times we put ourselves in certain types of positions. Okay. And a lot of times that we would basically do things and we don't know what we're basically doing. We interact with different cultures and thinking that it is safe to do so. Okay? Now, Interracial marriages and dating, of course, it's everybody's prerogative. In fact, I did a video essay last week on the crisis of interracial marriages and dating. And I know a lot of people were upset about it. Okay. I had basically said, well, if they're saying that they are in love, I have no problem with that. No, I'm not questioning the love part. But it's interesting that in the 1800s and 1900s, white people didn't want us to date them. They didn't want us to marry them. That is the question there of why now. You understand? And I told you as well that white people push more on us interracial marriages to control us economically and financially. That was one of the most important reasons for integration. You Black people who basically say, well, I don't see a problem with this. Well, you all have not asked white people. It's okay for you to then say that this is a multicultural society where everybody should be getting along. But where is the Black multicultural partnerships? That's what you're not questioning when you talk in terms about interracial marriage, you see? But before we get into this particular article, remember when I did the video essay, go back, I guess you got to find it, where it talks there about how the movie Get Out and how the boyfriend, okay, was basically lured by his white girlfriend to his parents' estate. Okay. It kind of basically redefines as to this is the first time. Of course, he is reluctant to go. He doesn't know what's going on, or what he's going to experience when he get there, right? He doesn't know what he's going to experience when he get there, do he? He don't know what type of white folks these are. He doesn't know anything. And to make a long story short, he gets there and find out that his white girlfriend had already had other Black boyfriends that she basically have drowned it in the sunken place. Okay? In fact, when I told you about the movie Get Out, remember we told you about how they were basically the Black people that was on the plantation there at that estate, how their organs was taken, how certain types of body parts were taken. And remember, at the end of the film, at the end of the movie Get Out, remember, it was the Black plantation workers or people that stayed there who tried to chase after him, to try to keep him on the plantation so that other people in society would not know about this estate. See? You got to look at this. The plot in the movie Get Out stars that Chris Washington, a photographer, reluctantly accepts his girlfriend Rose Armitage's invitation to spend the weekend at her parents' estate, although he is concerned because he is her first Black boyfriend and she has not told her parents of his race. So as he thought that she was the first Black, that this was her first Black boyfriend. And like I said earlier, okay, he goes to the house, and then as he is dazed to wake up, he finds out that there's other Black boyfriends that she's already sunken in. Okay. So the movie, of course, is written and produced and directed by Jordan Peele, starring Daniel Kaluuya and Allison Williams, right? And so a lot of black people on Twitter was making fun of the portrait where they saw Eve sitting at the end of this table. Kind of reminded a lot of black people when they went to the movies and saw the movie Get Out. Sort of reminded a lot of black people when they saw the movie The Help. Sort of reminded a lot of people or black people when they saw the movie Ma. You know what I mean? And they were basically jokingly saying, hey, rapper Eve, is she in the sunken place? There's a lot of black women who may be in the sunken place if they basically are married or have married white men, because of course it is kind of different when black men marry white women versus black women marrying white men. And you might say, well, how so? Well, the black man, of course, he does it because of self-hatred too. But the only difference is he gets the leftover white women. And the leftover white women, a lot of the ones that white men don't want, tends not to be as harmful as the white men who black women get with. Okay? Now, yes, there are white women who would call the police on black men real quick. Absolutely. Okay? But how you notice that a lot of these interracial marriages and dating that we talked about even in the last video essay, how you notice that money is already always involved. Have you noticed that? When singer Cassie, dancer, model, whatever she was, when she was in a relationship with P. Diddy, and then she basically settled with him, all of a sudden, she ended up in a relationship with a white boy who claims to be a personal fitness trainer and a country singer, you know. But how all of a sudden these black women are financing the lives of these white men, just like the black men who finance the lives of average white women and these sports, and when they get these sports contract and deals in the NFL, NBA. So the question here today is that we basically know that most interracial couples are only together not only because of common interests, but because of money. Now you might say, well, she was worth $10 million or $25 million or whatever. And I agree with you on that, which is why it was so questionable as to why she got into this marriage. Okay. But let's do some background on it before we get into why the photo itself is troubling for us in general. Okay. Excuse me. Eve, 46, and Maximillion, 52, started dating in 2010 after meeting at his Gumball 3000 motor rally. They married in 2014, and Eve moved from the US to London to live with her British businessman husband. The 1990s and the year 2000s rapper starred on The Talk and the US from 2017 to 2020, when she left and lived in the UK full time. Maximillion also had 4 older children from a previous relationship. Now, there you go. All right. So when these black women when they go into these marriages and relationships, they are always going in with some type of baggage that the white man has, but yet will be problematic when they go into a relationship with a black man. Okay? Moving right along to the history here. Eve broke out on the music scene in 1999 with her debut album, Let There Be Eve, Rough Riders' first female artist. Maximillion Cooper, a British former fashion designer, race car driver, entrepreneur who founded Gumball 3000 in 1999. Okay? Now, we're getting to the photo here. Getting to the photo. Because we're not going to be here this long, because I know a lot of people basically don't want me to take an hour or two on to what's the problem. The problem that we have with this photo is that she's the only black woman there with her daughter. And in this particular photo, she did not invite her mother. She did not invite her father. She was not able to invite any of her siblings in this particular photo. None of them but her daughter. There has never been any kind of photos that we have seen but now where she had a dinner that involved her family. Okay? Now, and you know that when we are in a marriage with black women, the first thing that she basically tell us in a marriage, she'll tell her husband, hey, my mother's coming or my father's coming. Do this, do that, prepare. Even if we have to pay for their plane trip. Now, what black woman you know in a marriage with a husband, a black man, is not going to storm in a room and tell him straight up that her mother or father is going to, be on this, is coming to town, or we're going to have to pay for this trip, and she's coming regardless of what you say or not. That's something that a black woman is going to directly tell her black husband. Now look at this photo. She's trying to pretend like there is a smile and that she's happy, but we see the spark in the eyes. Oh, we see what's going on here. Now, earlier I mentioned, what did I mention? I mentioned that this Maximillion Cooper has 4 children by a previous woman in a previous marriage. And most likely those kids are present, and most likely the ex-wife is in this photo. How much do y'all want to bet? And even if the ex-wife is not in the photo, she, I bet, is feeling some type of way of having some black woman sit there with her children, knowing that this man is with this black woman. Kind of remind me of the movie Tyler Perry did, The Family That Prays. Okay? Now, here's the problem with this photo also. Besides that her family is not present. As some of y'all have stated on the Facebook, some of y'all said on Instagram, and also on Twitter. Okay? But of course, you had all these black women who just love White Daddy to death. I had one of them who said, now, Sam, these comments are really ridiculous. If she had been sitting in the middle of the family, people would be like, she's the woman of the house. And they didn't even put her head on the table. You know what I'm saying? And so all we're saying is, why not invite her side of the family as well to take the photo? They both are millionaires, right? So they at least had enough money to invite her mom, her dad, some a sibling. I don't know if she has sisters or brothers, but there at least could have been other family members that could have flown in and be a part of that Christmas dinner. Okay, and they basically, y'all know this, and y'all understand this, and the photo looked troubling. Now, a lot of people was like, well, they rented out this plaza there in the UK and whatever, and that's where they had the Christmas dinner. Okay, fine. But we are making a big deal out of her being the only one there with her daughter, and none of her family members was invited. This is a Christmas dinner between her and her husband, and they both are millionaires and didn't even spend money to bring some of the family members over to be a part of this. And like I said, she's sitting there with the ex-wife children, most likely. And you know that the ex-wife got to be feeling some type of way, even though sometimes the ex-wife would say, well, I don't care about that. Right? So do you think that if she had children from a black man first, that they would also be invited? Would the black ex-boyfriend or husband, would he would have been invited to this Christmas dinner? I'm just trying to figure out something. I'm asking for a friend here, by the way. Okay. And so people are upset that we're making a big deal out of this. But remember, we have to ask these questions. And I will tell you why. Okay? When Princess Diana started to mess with that Indian guy, she tragically died. Okay? She tragically died as soon as she started messing with this Indian man, or whatever he was. And that basically was interesting as to how the whole entire case basically exploded from there. Because the UK and other British and all these other folks, just like with Prince Harry and Marilyn Markle, however you say her name, Marilyn Markle was dealing with racism in the UK and all these other European countries so bad that she had to come over to the United States with Prince Harry to live in I think I want to say Tyler Perry's mansion. So it is basically a question as to why Eve's family members were not invited to this particular Christmas party. And you all have said, well, they've been married for 10 years. Okay. Well, if we would have saw any kind of photos where they were together and her family was present, then that would be one thing. But we have not seen a lot of those photos, right? We only seen them together. And I think the question would be, is she getting herself in a situation where she could be a part of the sunken place? Is she getting herself in a situation where something tragic could happen to her? We don't know. Okay? We're just basically asking the question because the photo was troubling. It looked like there was going to be a part 2 of the movie Get Out, starting rapper Eve, if you will. That's all. And I know a lot of divestors are listening as well. And basically, You're in love with white daddy, understandably. I get it. I get it. You know, a lot of white men who are able to trick them way like they tricked us during the civil rights movement to try to preach to us that jobs is an economic concept. It got over the black man, didn't give us our reparations. So yes, he makes more money than us, got more money than us as black men. So we understand as black men that there's going to be some divestors. We understand that. We understand that some black women are going to want to interracial date. No problem there. No problem there. The issue here, however, is that when we see pictures and photos like this, it is an interesting situation. And we have questions. We just have questions. Did she ask her husband, hey, are we going to fly out my parents this time? And did he say no? Did she basically say that she didn't want her family around? Because sometimes in these marriages, a lot of times family will cut you off because of the marriages. Maybe perhaps that's something that has happened here. You know, so we're looking at the photo. Let's go back and look at the photo. Oh man, it was interesting. Okay, look at what she is kind of reminding us of the help, right? She's wearing this black attire, right? And it's kind of looking weird, you know, because, you know, when we see Eve, the rapper, of course she wasn't, well, you know, you might say, well, she's getting older. Okay, fine. But it's just troubling to us. It's just really troubling. And she got a chain necklace on. A chain necklace on. Okay? You want to know why we're upset? Because this chain necklace does not represent nothing more than a house Negro female slave, just like it did when we were on the plantation. What do the white woman wear, though? The white woman wear pearls at this time, you know, in a photo like this. The white woman has always had pearls on her neck. She have always wore pearls and certain types of imagery when there are pictures taken. The white woman has never, in these types of photos, wore a chain around her neck at all. The white woman, when you see her in that photo, when she's with her white man, has always wear some pearls, and she's representing as the architect, however you say it, of the family. She's representing herself as the wife by wearing this older type woman attire. That's not what we got here with this photo of Eve. We got her with a chain necklace around her neck, dressed in black, right? Looking like a babe, okay? And basically, she doesn't have the type of wife material imagery that this man's former ex-wife had, who was wearing, as I said earlier, the pearls around her neck. It speaks to a type of disrespect. And these black women don't care as long as they are in a relationship, a lot of them, especially the divestors, they don't care about that imagery as long as they're taking a picture and in a relationship with some white man. And I just told you about certain types of imageries in this other video. And the reason why a lot of people on Twitter was asking, is Eve in the sunken place? She got to be in the sunken place. Why? because the first thing that she should have told this white husband of hers, there is no way that I'm going to wear this chain around my neck. Okay? And there is no way that I am not only going to wear this chain around my neck, but we're going to invite some of my families, or I'm not coming to this dinner. Okay? Because that's exactly what the black woman would have told black men. Okay? And so by his children being there, okay, and look at the back where the butler is. That kind of scary as well. It's kind of remind me of those plazas, when you go and wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and you're in this dark, spooky hallway, like that movie Get Out, where you like frightful that you're walking down this hall and you don't know what's going to jump out on out on you, because the halls are so long and they're dark, and you're in this room and they're playing this weird kind of music, and you're like, oh hell, gotta hurry up and get the hell out of this type of place, you said. The question would be, and has been, is Eve in the sunken place? This kind of crazy. And then she got the daughter. Look at the daughter. The daughter's hair is not combed. The daughter got her hair all over her head. And it's like, what is going on here? And it's kind of like, why are they in this picture so differently from the white folks in this picture? It kind of reminds me of the old plantations that, when you see these movies, these old films back in the days, you saw like movies like, what's that movie? With the film, the Django Unchained. All of these imagery is basically fitting this style of what's going on. And black women has dealt with this racism, and they are basically able to deal with this racism even on the job, because they're just happy just to be in a relationship with a white man, right? And it's like, look at this. This, like I said, this looked like a movie, a scene from Django Unchained. It does not represent the type of, if I had a daughter and she decided to marry a white man, this is not the type of photo that I would want my black daughter in. I'm sorry. It just looked like an old style plantation type imagery. Looked like we're on a set of the Help, or it looked like the movie Ma. It just kind of looked like it's troubling to me. And it's basically, it's not the type of imagery that I would want to look at. It would be scary. Okay. And it's just awful. Now let's go back to some of these folks on Facebook who is saying that we are making a big deal out of this. Of course, they're going to say this. One woman write, I was married for 23 years and never once spent a holiday with my family and my husband's family together. Okay, fine. Okay, but both of your family is in the United States and you're just one person. We're talking about her because she's in the United Kingdom. Okay, I'm pretty sure that your family did not rent out this palace, this spooky palace, and decided to take these crazy imageries. So we're not talking about you're not basically, that's you're one person. You don't count. You're not like a celebrity like her. So, and you might just be saying that to try to also rationalize the imagery. That's what some of these divestors do. They try to rationalize certain imagery. And so let's move on to the other comments, because that comment doesn't make sense. Um, it says, yeah, that's the one. This Jaquetta. She said, Eve been married for over a decade. Are y'all okay? Well, let me just say this, Jaquetta. We are okay. We are very okay. In fact, we are so okay that we are just worried about a foundational Black American woman or whatever you ADOS or Black Freeman female. I basically also want to say this around about the table setting. Okay. Um, a lot of people were saying, well, this is kind of what the UK do. They do this old antique style dinner and stuff like that. Okay, fine, fine. But it's just basically, it's troubling. It really is. It's scary. It's spooky, you know. Um, but remember, it was a lot of people who was on Twitter and who was on Facebook. They were basically they gave them the work on. I'm telling you, go read the Twitter comments. Man, man, they were basically saying, "Oh man, this doesn't look good," you know, they were saying that. So, but yes, we know that you Black women want an interracial marry and date. We're not chastising her for that. In actuality, here there is a several types of life testimonies that one author did. She boldly tackles this difficult subject with warm humor and understanding as she explores stereotypes of Black female sexuality and white male perspectives on Black female beauty in a book called Don't Bring Home a White Boy and Other Notions That Keep Black Women from Dating Out by Karen Lanhorn Folan and contributor Karen Hunter. Now, how many of y'all know who Karen Hunter is? I know that y'all see her on her YouTube, and YouTube and podcast there. Well, she contributed to a book about Don't Bring Home a White Boy. Okay. So interesting, but just leave your comments. Let me know what you think here. And like I said, we have no problem with a lot of Black women dating out. Black men don't really care about that. But we were just troubled about those imageries. That's all. It was us. Now, we have done, though, some research of some of us Black podcasters. I want to tell you this before I go off air. But there are some type of interracial marriages and datings that ends up in crimes, just like a lot of marriages do, as far as, when these white men kill their women over insurance policy, and then they'll basically tell, they'll tell some seasonal detective that the wife, excuse me, let me slow down here. Excuse me. They'll tell a seasoned detective, oh, my wife and my kids, they're on a trip. They're on a trip to this and that country, and the wife and children, have been missing for a year, right? And the detectives are sitting there and saying, "Look, let me tell you something. Don't nobody take a vacation for a year, okay? You just killed your wife and children. Just tell us the truth here." You saw these TV shows like 48 Hours and Forensic Files and Dateline. So we're just telling these, Black people to be very careful here, because white folks sometimes, not all, but sometimes they will invite you on your Black boyfriend or your Black girlfriend on a trip, and then they will accidentally shoot you, and then they'll tell the local police, "Oh, it was an accident." Just like that one couple. I mean, that white girl, she invited her black boyfriend on a camping trip, and then the father, I think it was the father, ended up claiming that he accidentally, shot him. And so the news media came and they were asking the father questions and stuff. And then he had one of those, those Confederate flags all in his garage, trying to say, "Oh yeah, it's just an honest accident. It was just an honest accident." So that's why we got to be very careful about certain types of people that we in interracial marriages and dating with. Of course, because see, I told you it's mostly about common interests. Okay. And whites, as I said in my video, they push interracial marriage and dating up on us so that we can stop asking about reparations. So that's why a lot of black people are like, I get a chance to go down the aisle with white daddy and white mommy. Ooh, yeah. Shoot. What the hell with reparations now? Hell, I get to go down the aisle and marry white mommy and white daddy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You see, so we have to be very careful about those white folks. I mean, those black people who basically is only there to interracially date just because they have that access. You understand what I'm saying? And I told you that if white people were very serious about multiculturalism, as they also tell us to engage in, well, I would ask the black people who interracially date and who preach and teach multiculturalism, where is the multicultural business partnerships with black people at? Where is they at? See, it's all right for you to sleep with a white woman or sleep with a white man, but you can't be in a partnership with one, a business partnership, which is what black people need. They need economics in their communities. That's the reason why marriages are falling apart, right? So we talk about a so-called interracial love as if it is basically only about the love, but we have found that it's mostly about common interests. And I look at Eve, for example. Here's a black woman who was a millionaire. She was doing successful in the United States. She could have been married. But yes, a white guy got her. No problem with that at all. But what I'm saying to you is that it is basically questionable. It really is, because it's all about money. As Dr. Umar Johnson pointed out, why have we not seen rich white people with broke black people? Why have we not seen that yet? I would like to see that. And then I would be convinced that interracial love exists, if I could see that. So, but the reason why we are also finally, the reason why we are questioning this is because back around 2003, 2004, somewhere around there was this black woman, right? And she was in a marriage with this white man, okay? All right? And in this relationship, in this marriage, the white man convinced her black husband to ask her sister to give him a $100,000 business loan so that he can start a business. Now, what black woman is going to give some black man $100,000 business loan to start a business? You know what I'm saying? We can barely get black women to come and pick us up at the airport, right? But anyway, he convinced her. He convinced her black husband. He convinced his black wife to get her sister to give him a business loan, and she did it. So once he got the money, instead of him taking the $100,000 that the black sister had gave him, he took the money right? And he started cheating on the black woman with another black woman and another white woman, right? Did you hear about the story in Arizona? This happened, like I said, in 2000, somewhere around there, 2000 in Arizona. So the black wife was basically came into the living room and she was picked up the other phone and um her white husband on the phone talking to one of the women, right? Because he was cheating on her with a black woman and a white woman. And both of them were saying, well, in order for me to marry you, talking to the white husband, you got to divorce your wife. That's what they were both telling him to do. Okay? Because he was basically tricking on both of them. He was giving them money too. And so he was basically in a relationship because, a lot of times black women don't think that the white man cheat, right? So he was basically cheating on his black wife. Then the black wife overheard him say that, hey, telling the other women, hey, don't worry about her because she's not going to be a factor. She's not going to be in the picture. So she heard that. So the black wife called her parents. And her parents was like, oh, you need to come and stay with us. And you need to come and stay with her. I think he's dangerous. So the black wife ended up going to the parents, right? The white husband convinced his black wife, who was at the time staying with the parents, to come home. And he was like, oh, what you heard on the phone, that was not true. I'm not trying to kill you, blah, 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 blah. It convinced the black woman to come home, right? Okay. Then when the black wife got there, he had already dug up her grave in the backyard, right? The black wife comes into the house. He tells her to put on a blindfold, walks her out to the backyard, and beat her to death with a shovel and buried her. You understand? So when you talk about interracial relationships, you can say, well, that could happen with black families. Fine. But we all know that white men have the highest criminal charges of murder, of rape, of child molestation, and other things. Okay? And then there's other stories about different types of black females going missing when they get with these white men. But yet, we are told every day by these black women who are divestors, oh, we don't want to date you black men. You black men ain't, you black men is this, you black men is that. We're going to go out here as black women and we're going to start dating us a white man. We're going to start dating us an Asian man. We're going to date us a Latino man, an Arab man. We don't need to date you black men. Y'all ain't shit, blah, blah, blah. Black women, cut the bullshit. Okay? Ain't no other race of men that's going to put up with y'all crazy ass but us. You understand? The type of crap that y'all give to black men in the United States is nothing compared. These white folks over these other countries and these other races, they do not put up with y'all attitude at all. They're going to dump you. They're going to get rid of you. And if you don't do what they are, conform to what they say, you are gone. Or hell, sometimes they'll, you'll be found somewhere dead. Okay? So we talked there about how y'all treat black men versus how y'all treat white men. Y'all don't give the white man that attitude, and y'all know it. Okay? Y'all only do that to your own men. Why? Because we are under a system of white supremacy. And every time you call the police, they come and they're going to, put the black man in jail based upon the lies you told. And then y'all going to lie to the black child talking about the father was never in the family. That's the conniving stuff that some of y'all get away with a lot. So let's stop it. Let's stop playing. But yes, we want to come on and talk about this interesting photo. This was an interesting photo. This was also my second part two of the crisis of interracial marriage. This came right at time, you know. So Fat Joe, I was going to talk about Fat Joe today because he was disrespecting, foundational Black Americans and all that. But yeah, I said when I seen this, when I was sent this, I said I have to talk about this. Excuse me. I got to talk about this first. I got to talk about this first. This is very important. Every time I get an image like this, kind of like remind me of the movie Get Out, remind me of the movie Ma, remind me of the movie The Help. All of these movies where white people have us in these roles, or sometimes even Black people have us in these roles where we are either maids and we are obsessed with the white daddy and all this old stuff. That's what the movie Ma was about. Remember, she was in that fire Farno, Octavia Spencer's character, and she chained the white man to the bed because she basically had feelings and had a desire to be with him during high school. These are certain types of bedwitch fantasies that certain Black women are obsessed with. You understand? And a lot of times, just like Cassie, they have to finance their relationship with these white men. And these white men actually get, after they get divorced, they get all types of child support and alimony from these Black women, especially if they're making more money than these white men. So when y'all criticize Black men of, going for the white woman who basically he put the ring on her finger, Black women, you're doing the same thing. You're financing these white guys in your marriage and love relationships as well. So in any relationship, interracial relationship, Black people are always financing the other race. And no matter if it's Black men or Black women, y'all both are financing these white people, Hispanic, Asian, or whoever. Let's be very clear about that. Okay? Join me next week when I talk about Fat Joe and his dissing of foundational Black America. Black American, or foundational, as he say, foundational Black authority. Join me next week on the Lawyer Henderson podcast show. Take care.